There's no doubt it's a slow art. The fable always comes up, the tortoise and the hare. The trees are the tortoise, constantly plodding along and can easily grow out of shape. My name is Richard Reames, and I'm an arbor sculptor. It needs some explanation. Basically, it's the shaping of live trees into things. Houses, walls, or just loops and spirals and hearts, and almost any conceivable design that you wanted to make out of a living tree trunk. A lot of this process is a give and take. It's a long, slow conversation between you and the tree. You say something, tree says something back. There's many similar art forms. Bonsai is simply miniaturizing trees. The object is to make it look like a miniature tree. Topiary is working with the foliage of a tree. Bleaching might be the most related in that oftentimes the branches grow together, but it's also pretty well defined as a single wall pattern. But this is more like 3D chess compared to that. So it needed its own word. These are apples, young apples. This is already flowered out, and the new growth is coming out everywhere. A lot of the work involves pruning and bending and tying to a shape. Once the shape is held, then you can bring any part together with any other part with grafting. It's called approach grafting. So what I'm going to do is just remove the little bark where these are going to touch, and then bring those two cut surfaces into contact. And they just grow together because nothing is severed. That's why it mostly always works out. Pull that snug. And in about 2 years, I can take this off and they'll be grown together. I tried a lot of different kinds of experiments with trees. This is the tree that waters itself. I just drilled a hole straight through the trunk, hooked it into the water system, and then through the years, I just kept extending this pipe by putting on extensions to keep it from being swallowed. Oh, one project I did with a neighbor was he wanted to grow a boat, and I said, I think I know how to do that. And so we got the trees, and that's how we grew a boat. There's no telling whether a piece is going to work out or not in the long run. So tools are really fun. They're real easy to make. And all you do is get an old tool head that hasn't got a handle anymore. Everyone has them laying around. And you can slip it over a sapling in the wintertime when there's no leaves. And eventually, it totally filled in the handle, spilled out the back, and made the shovel nice and tight. It took me maybe 10 minutes. The tree put in about 4 or 5 years. If you look in the forest, it's not hard to find natural trees just growing together, one to another, or a branch back into the tree, one branch back into the same branch to make a loop. You can find examples of them everywhere. And so I believe that's what inspired other people that were doing this art. When I first started looking into this art, I found a rich history that goes way back. And the oldest example I found was 1516. It was a painting of an angel and an alchemist. John Krupsak grew a chair and he harvested it and took it to a World's Fair, 1919. I was inspired by the work of Axel Erlandson. He grew trees into all kinds of things, like chairs and ladders and hearts and spirals, and he had a roadside attraction in the Santa Cruz Mountains of California, a place called the Tree Circus. And I grew up about 10 miles from where that was. And at the time, I don't think I barely noticed the trees when I was little. It wasn't until I was in my 30s that I recalled Erlandson's trees. I'd read about them and got inspired to try to grow some trees. When I was 25 or something, I was one of the gypsies. I traveled all around. I had a van. I was pretty much a free spirit. So eventually we landed here. And all our friends were looking to buy some raw land at the same time. The whole place got divided up between us and our friends, and we all started building our houses and having our kids together. I took a class in how to build a log house. I went and felled all kind of dead standing trees. My wife and I worked on the house for 3 years before we moved in. And I remember looking at Erlandson's notes and drawings and thinking, wow, wouldn't that be neat to grow some of these kinds of trees? So for a while I was doing many installations, fairs, floral shows, and things like that. This is a chair design.
Is it a comfortable sit?
Oh yeah, well, you know, they could, I think any wooden chair could use a cushion. My first book was called How to Grow a Chair, and it was mainly my ideas on how you could grow a chair. Like bending saplings, grafting. After I wrote How to Grow a Chair, I was contacted by people around the world who wanted to tell me about other people that were doing this art. And then I gathered up the history, and so after a decade, I had a lot of material for my next book. You know, it's hard to say where this art might go. I'd love to see it catch on and become more common in the landscape. Art, in a lot of ways, it embraces life. More trees are planted, and I think that's a good thing for now. You know, I think we need more trees on this earth. I have no idea how long this is going to last for me. I really enjoy it now, and it sure seems like I can continue this for the rest of my life. It's gentle work, and it's really fulfilling.